Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend because I got a bunch of DC updates for you today. The first things first is Legends of Tomorrow picks up a new passenger. And then the Batman is filming today in Liverpool City Center. Also, is Barry Keoghan really playing Mad Hatter? And then Patty Jenkins expresses that we could lose movie theater going forever. Disney focusing primarily on streaming and how that could affect the entire industry, including DC films. And finally, there's no Superman sequel for at least 5 to 6 years? Oh my God. But before all that, I have to thank my newest member of the Ping Pong Flix Show, Lego Dinosaur. Wow, what a name. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining the Ping Pong Flix Show. I want to thank you and the rest of the Ping Pong Flix Show family. Thank you to all the guys and girls here. You are literally the lifeline of the show. And hopefully you got to access the exclusive access videos. My latest video is my interview with the BBC and you can actually kind of hear their thoughts of the Snyder Cut fandom. But of course, I have to thank the rest of you subscribers. Thank you for subscribing and tuning in pretty much daily for DC content. Like I said, there is a random prize drawing for when we reach 15,000 subscribers. There's also a random prize drawing if we reach 100 members. So subscribe and join today. Now for the first topic of the day, Legends of Tomorrow picks up a new passenger. This is actually coming from DC Comics themselves. The Wave Rider picks up a new passenger on Season 6 of DC Legends of Tomorrow. Lizeth Chavez to join the cast as Spooner Cruz. Previously known for her role as Officer Vanessa Rojas on the NBC drama Chicago PD, Chavez has recurred on many hit television shows including Murder in the First, The Fosters, and The OA. Tough and self-sufficient, Spooner Cruz lives off the grid, devising ingenious tech for the detection of and defense against space aliens. And one some might call her paranoid, she calls it being prepared. A survivor of a childhood alien encounter, Spooner now believes she has the ability to communicate telepathically with aliens, making her the perfect recruit for Wave Rider captains Sarah Lance, Ava Sharp, and the Legends, who in Season 6 will be hunting down extraterrestrials who have been displaced throughout history. More on this on the article in the link in the description below. Now, I have yet to catch up on all the CW series. I'm almost done with Supergirl Season 1. Again, just to refresh myself, and I'm going to tackle The Flash on the other shows as well. And I will also finish up Legends of Tomorrow so that I am freshly tuned in as we all start CW series next year. Now, the next topic is, of course, DC films. We're finally getting actual shots again from the Batman set. They are now filming in Liverpool City Center. They've transformed that to Gotham Square. This is actually some tweets from some awesome people on the internet today who were able to take pictures of this whole thing. It must be a memorial press conference. Looks like police lines all set up back again. And Little Starling has told me a few things. This film primarily involves Farrell's Penguin. Any Batman scenes are being filmed by the stunt doubles. Filming is happening across Liverpool City Center, and this is the shot from yesterday. Actually, it shows you a nice purple Maserati, which they are thinking it's actually Penguin's car, and then his shirt kind of reflects it. So this must be that memorial session that we saw in the trailer, but outside, another scene for it, and we get to see the actual people there today. So a lot of people in their masks, they're safe. That's great. We don't need another delay. And also this awesome looking car here. It's a 63 Corvette Stingray C3 that apparently is, as this person says, Bruce Wayne's car. Wow, what a car. That's awesome. More pictures of them actually coming down. We see Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne. We see Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle in the background. You'll see her in a minute. Then we have Falcone and Penguin. Penguin, I like to say. That's Colin Farrell, man. That's Colin Farrell. In some shots where he's like smiling, I could have swear he looks like Robert De Niro playing Al Capone in The Untouchables. That's how good he looks. He completely disappears into the row, and that is fascinating. He's also wearing purple, so that would make sense that he has a purple Maserati. Of course, that you're like, really? But hey, this is a comic book movie. That's probably a thing, right? We got a little bit more of emo Bruce Wayne. Selena Kyle looking fresh. Look at her nails. Look at those nails. She could really scratch people right now. Her nails right there. There's also a little video of showing them coming down over here. There's a lot of shots of the Penguin coming down, Falcone. They just kind of did this over and over throughout the day, as they took many shots of this for the Batman. There also is actual Batman shots. This is actually probably, I don't know if this was across the street, but apparently it's a second unit, and that's a stunt double playing the Batman, and more of him on the motorcycle as well. So there are shots. I think this may be connected to that scene that we saw earlier in the year, where it's the Batman and Catwoman both on motorcycles riding down. This must have been an extension of those shots. Now, there is one actor that people are very curious about having him come into the role late in the game, and that is Barry Keoghan. Barry Keoghan, how are you? He is actually shown here on the set of the Batman, as you see him right here. And then you also see him here, doing something interesting. Now, he looks a little suspicious, just kind of going behind these officers, looking around. And I don't know if this is an actual scene in the movie, or this is just, not during his take or whatever. But the biggest rumor, like I've said before, is Barry Keoghan really playing Mad Hatter? That was a rumor for a while now, and that could be the case. And Barry Keoghan, actually, probably himself, has already gave us this rumor back in January 31st of 2021, when he tweeted out this image of himself standing under a giant picture of a hat, or the stones of a hat. That looks like Mad Hatter to me, or maybe the biggest clue that he could definitely be playing the villain Mad Hatter, and not Simon, and not Stanley Merkel after all. But then again, this could all be a ruse, and maybe these were all the Mad Hatter rumors came from, with him simply just standing under that and taking a picture of it. So we'll find out when the movie comes out, whenever the movie comes out, and I think it's 2022 still yet. Speaking about movies that have yet to come out with multiple delays, Wonder Woman 1984. The director of Wonder Woman 1984, Patty Jenkins, expresses we could lose movie theaters going forever. And this is actually an article coming from The Hollywood Reporter. Director Patty Jenkins has warned that the future of cinema going is in peril amid the coronavirus pandemic. If we shut this down, this will not be a reversible process, she told news agencies Reuters in an interview from her home in Los Angeles. We could lose movie theater going forever. Jenkins, whose Wonder Woman 1984 has been delayed 3 times due to the coronavirus pandemic, is among top Hollywood names who have appealed to the government for financial help for cinemas. While theater attendance has rebounded in some countries following a global shutdown in March, the U.S. market is struggling, she said. And if more cinemas get closed after Regal owner Cineworld decides to shut its venues amid a lack of Hollywood films, the director suggested, it could be the kind of thing that happened to the music industry, where you could crumble the entire industry by making it something that it can't be profitable, which is kind of true. I don't know if you remember stores like Tower Records and Sam Goody and all these other stores that had rows and rows of CDs lined up where you can go and grab it, and before then it was records as well. Now everything is kind of like digital, right? You just download it, and frankly, it's Napster's fault, but you download it, you can just put it on your own phone and things like that. There's not many uses for a CD anymore, but there are still stores out there, brick and mortar stores, but it's depleting very, very, very quickly. And so her analogy to the music industry is, frankly, is correct. I mean, if there are no theater Hollywood movies, Hollywood films going to the theaters, how can these theaters survive? Granted, there are some stuff coming out this week even, but Is it enough? Is it enough to keep all those screens open? Is it enough to keep those theaters on? Or is it enough to keep that overhead low? And I don't think so. And that's the really crappy part, because I do enjoy the theater going experience. But looks like there is one company that is going to primarily focus on streaming, and that is Disney. This tweet actually comes from David F. Sandberg, the director of Shazam and Shazam Fury of the Gods. Welp, rest in peace, theaters, I guess. Sounds not too good. This is an article coming from CNBC.com. It says right here, Disney says its primary focus for entertainment is streaming, announces a major reorg. Disney is restructuring its media and entertainment divisions in order to further accelerate its direct-to-consumer strategy. The company will be centralizing its media businesses into a single organization that will be responsible for content distribution, ad sales, and Disney+. The change comes as the global coronavirus pandemic has crippled its theatrical business and ushered more customers towards its streaming options. I would not characterize this as a response to COVID, CEO Bob Chapek told CNBC's Julia Boorstin on Closing Bell on Monday. I would say COVID accelerated the rate at which we made this transition, but this transition was going to happen anyway, which is true. This thing was going to happen anyway. It's kind of inevitable at this point, but COVID really accelerated a lot. I mean, I thought we've had maybe 5 to 10 years, but apparently not. Disney is becoming more reliant on Disney Plus as movie theaters have been unable to recover after being shuttered in March due to the outbreak. Ticket sales have been particularly lackluster at domestic cinemas since the industry attempted a large-scale reopening in late August. In recent months, the company pushed back a number of its theatrical releases, including its Marvel blockbuster Black Widow. The much-anticipated Pixar film Soul has also been postponed. It will now arrive on Disney Plus in December. Consumers are going to lead us, Chapek said on Closing Bell. Right now, they are voting with their pocketbooks, and they are voting very heavily toward Disney+. We want to make sure that we are going the way the consumers want us to go. And apparently, this new structure is effective immediately. The company currently expects to transition its financial reporting to reflect those changes beginning in the first quarter of fiscal 2021. So it's already happening. This thing's already happening, and Disney just accelerated this by focusing on streaming instead of the theatrical package. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still going to be those big budget movies, of course, and more that comes out in theaters, but they're going to choose what to put out and what to put onto streaming, like I said before. And with that, there's probably not going to be much theaters anymore, because less movies, less screens, less theaters. It's just how it works, because there's just so much overhead running these theatrical businesses. This is likely to get smaller and smaller, just like the Tower Records, just like the Sam Goodies, all these, just like the Virgin Records. They're all going to start disappearing. Sadly, they are. And COVID has really accelerated this process. Disney had pushed it a little further. With a snap, Disney wipes away half of all theaters. Now, I just said that plainly and jokingly, but I kind of mean it, because this is essentially them telling theaters, look, we're just going to go where the consumers are going to go. We're going to go where the movies are going to go. And that is streaming. That we're seeing the numbers. This is how it's going to happen. It's inevitable. And Disney is going to jump on this bandwagon first. And in due time, other studios will jump on as well. This is why I think this is an important subject for me today, because this affects everything else. This affects Warner Brothers as well. Once they see Disney doing this and profiting on Disney Plus, they are going to jump on it. And they've already done. A lot of things are coming on HBO Max, and more investment will be on projects that go directly to HBO Max rather than theatrical. But they still have theater movies that they have to put out. As evident here, there are a lot of movies that Warner Brothers needs to put out, but they have been delayed almost over a year. The Batman is now March of 2022. The Flash is now November 2022. Shazam 2, 2023. Black Adam, because it's so far out, it's not even dated yet. Not on here is a date on June of 2021 that Wonder Woman 1984 could potentially move to now that Jurassic World has moved out of in 2021. And that is still unclear if that's still going to happen, but they are saving dates and they are getting ready for further delays if the theaters don't bounce back. Like I said, how are they going to bounce back if you keep delaying films? These delays actually affect all the future movies as well. As you see, if Wonder Woman 1984 gets delayed and it gets pushed into next year, it could potentially push other movies out even further. And you're like, that's fine, I can wait. Should we though? I mean, I am a huge Superman fan. And when I saw this tweet today by one of the scoopers in the industry right now, he said this: thinking about a Superman sequel and came to realize that assuming everything Warner Brothers has planned is still on track, New Gods, Green Lantern Corps, Wonder Woman, Batman, Shazam, The Flash, Aquaman, a Supes film can maybe fit in a 2025, more likely 2026, which is why the Nick Fury canoe role makes more sense. Now, I don't know what he means by the Nick Fury role. That doesn't make sense to me. I think he's referring to Michael Keaton possibly being the Nick Fury role for the Warner Bros. Theatrical version of DC. But just listening to that, no Superman sequel for at least 5 to 6 years at this rate, right? I mean, this is just how many delays has it been already? Because if you look at it, you go back to the dates, and we talked about how, Henry Cavill probably signed on multiple already back when he showed up on Zack Snyder's Justice League, that he could potentially, like in Deadline says, in a cameo role in possibly Shazam 2 and Black Adam, right? And that was announced back in May. And now that these dates are moving forward, farther out, Shazam 2, we're not going to get to see him cameo unless he's in the Flash as well, but cameo in until 2023. Black Adam has no date yet, and if they keep pushing it back, pushing it farther out, he's right. We're not going to get a Superman sequel in 5 to 6 years, if it's even signed on, if it's even happening at this point. And these delays constantly pushes it back. Now, I get the studios want to make the most money as they possibly can in the box office ticket sales, but it also pushes things, farther back. It keeps movies out of the theaters, but the theaters need your movies. So I think, like I've said before in my podcast, in the Hot Dog Hour session, you can check it out on Spotify, on Google, whatever you want. But I expressed that they should definitely keep that Wonder Woman 1984 date this year, half of it to digital streaming, just to, PVOD, whatever. Just sacrifice Wonder Woman 1984, The Suicide Squad. Keep those dates. Just keep the theaters alive, to keep people, to encourage people to go to the theaters. Maybe entice them with some kind of free goodie or some type of prize package that you cannot get if you just do the digital streaming. Do something to entice people to go back to the theaters, at least for these blockbuster films that were supposed to have already come out, including Black Widow. Just throw that out in the theaters already. Sacrifice a few just to get the theater thing going, and then get those movies back on schedule. But of course, theaters are dying. It is dying, and it's sad to see it die at this rate. But like I said, it does postpone, it does delay future content that was supposed to have come out. And you never know. A lot of these movies, they may have, I don't know if they can, but they may change their budgets not to be as big because they're just going to put it on HBO Max or PVOD instead. This is the time we're living in, a time where we're not going to see a Superman sequel in 5 to 6 years. This is the reality of it pushing it back. This is the reality of pushing it back. but at least we're going to get some Superman content next year, right? We got Superman's going to return in 2021 for Zack Snyder's Justice League in all his black suit glory. We're also going to have Superman return in 2021 with Superman and Lois. So at least we have maybe 2 projects of Superman that's coming out next year. But for his Superman sequel, this is sad to hear. This is sad to read. Definitely sad. All right, guys. Well, sorry to be a bummer about all that, but just looking at the dates, looking at the reality of things and how the theaters are shaping, how the streaming service is really shaping, I don't know what to expect at this point, and I think they don't even know what to expect at this point. Disney sure does. Disney is surely saying, we're going streaming first, theatrical second or third. I don't know where theatrical is in their focus in terms of business strategies and all that. But like I said, if one studio starts doing it and they show that they're being successful at it, other studios will follow. That's what businesses do. They follow the money. All right, guys, if you love this daily dose of DC content of movies, shows, and video games, please click the like button, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time.